Okay guys, Monday the 26th of February. I've just been triggered into a short position on the FTSE 100. Coming into this morning, we were testing between this 7272 level and the 7282 level up above. And what I went over this morning with subscribers was that how this level is good resistance and this level is good support. And what we're looking for is, if the market begins to break out of this level, we'd then expect a stronger bullish rally. If it breaks down below this level, we'd then expect a stronger bearish rally, basically either up into our next zone or down into our next zone. But coming into today, testing between both of these levels, it was worthwhile watching for potential support and worthwhile watching for potential resistance. So the market has pressed up early morning. We actually got a rally after this 750 AM pin bar right here. I was looking at this for a potential entry, but I just couldn't get into the trade. It didn't line up properly, and then we've seen that bullish bounce up into the previous highs right here. As soon as we got up there, we started to see the rejection coming into the FTSE. It lined up with a potential setup, so I was happy to get short. Now on this position, really I'm looking for the market to come back down and test at these levels. And really, I'm looking for a minimum of sort of 6 to 7 points on this trade. We'll see how we get on. We are still finding a little bit of support up here. The bulls are continuing to step in. We tried to break down here at 8.15. Market popped back up again. This 8.20 candle is looking relatively bullish at present. But for this trade, I'm pretty much in it until we come back down to this level right here at a minimum. I'll then be looking for the 6 to 7 points for potential profit. If it doesn't, if it just rallies, I'm not going to come out early, so I would just suffer a full position loss on this one. But we'll see how we get on. It is looking relatively bullish. If it does just pop up, I will just take the loss on this one. Okay, so after the 8.20 candle, we had a pretty bullish close here, and then coming into 8.25, we popped up a little bit higher. And honestly, when it started to come up, I really expected the market to just put in a little bit of a bullish bounce and take out at the stop level. What I was looking at also is if we come to the left, if we use this right here, retesting at this previous little swing point right here. So over the weekend, the market has closed here at this level, and then it has gapped all the way up and created this level of support and resistance. So basically a previous high. We then came down, we've pressed up, we've came down, we've pressed up, and we've started to test at this level right here after the pin bar that I took as the entry at 8.10. So when the market was coming up to test here, although it was looking bullish, the reasoning for staying in the trade is because we are testing at this previous level. You know, if we are starting to break up, we're coming straight into another level of resistance. So it doesn't make sense to me just to come out, you know, as we start to test up here for a smaller loss. So for this one, I'm happy to stay into the trade until we start to break down to this management point. If we don't reach the management point, then I would just take that loss. And then what I'll do is when this trade completes one way or the other, I'll go on to the higher time frame, so the daily time frame, and I'll basically take you through why I was looking at these areas and the reasoning behind the short position. So the market is now down testing at this potential level of support right here. Really, I'm looking for the market to come down toward really the previous lows. So sitting at 7.272. If the market does come down toward those levels, I'll just close the trade. Basically, I'll take the money and run. Looking for sort of 6 to 7 points on this one as it comes down to test at this previous zone. Okay, so I've now closed out that trade. We just came down and started testing at the previous lows. I gave it a little bit of wiggle room. We were starting to see some bullish bounces coming in. So as I mentioned, more than happy to take the profits at this level. And what I usually say is, if in doubt, scalp it out. So yeah, trade completed, what is it, 8:44 AM. In all honesty, with this trade, when it started to press up like this, and we had this bullish candle, and then this one started to press higher, in my mind, I was sort of 70 to 75% sure it was going to pop up and take me out for the loss. But again, as I always go over, that is why it is so important that you follow your trading plan and not what your mind is telling you. If your trading plan is good, I know my trading plan is good, I know it works, all you have to do is execute the trading plan and do not let your emotions get in the way. What's also worth going over before we jump onto the higher time frame is early morning. This candle right here, 750, as I mentioned. This was a level of potential support. I was watching this candle for a potential setup and a bullish bounce up into this zone, and really profit targets would have been around about here. It just didn't set up correctly, and then we got that strong bullish move higher. And what I basically posted into the chat window was that was pretty much for me the Monday Club trade. Monday Club trade, you know, the very, very early morning trade, and it lets you get finished. And I really, obviously, like to finish early on a Monday. And then I posted that in, and basically what one of the subscribers said was, would rather have, actually, let me just read it, would rather have a Monday morning win than a maybe loss. And it's basically, it's basically like hearing myself talk, which is actually brilliant, because it means that the things like discipline and stuff are sinking in. And yeah, absolutely. So although this one was a maybe trade, I skipped it. And then it did exactly what I was looking for it to do. But I skipped it because it was a maybe trade. It just didn't line up enough. And it's much more important that you're willing to skip an imperfect setup than it is for you to take any individual trade. It's much, much more important. So when it moved up, all you have to do is just, you know, brush it off and say, okay, well, it worked out absolutely fine, but it wasn't my setup. And because it wasn't my setup, I didn't take the trade. So it doesn't really matter that we got the bullish bounce because it wasn't what I was looking for. And then, you know, in all honesty, most days, if I skip this, I'm then maybe sitting for hours and hours before another setup comes along that I'm willing to look at. And just happened today that, you know, we got a nice setup. We had quite a few confluences to bring this market back down. Let's have a look for today. Again today. So 335 on the day. Market is actually pressing down a little bit lower. But as I mentioned, these previous lows were the target coming into this 272 daily support and resistance level. So yeah, really good trade. What I'm going to do is I will jump onto the higher time frame and I'll just basically take you through why I was looking at both of these levels as resistance, as support, and why we're looking at potential breakouts, not strong breakouts, just, you know, to the next zone. So up toward the 300 levels if we break above, down below, down toward the sort of 245 to 250 levels. Okay guys, so on the daily time frame now, I have zoomed in quite a lot so we can just look at it and try and go over what I was looking at. So basically, over the weekend, we gapped up, and we gapped up to test this previous spike right here. And you can see almost, you know, to the pip, or to the point. It came up, tested, and then we started to see the rejection. So coming into today, this whole area here is only if we really started breaking up above this previous spike here. And what I'd gone over last week was after this one, on the Wednesday, we started to get the bullish movement. And what I went over was how now that we've had a bullish movement after this candle with a strong spike, it's potentially a continuation spike. So potentially the market is going to press up and retest at the highs of this candle. And that's exactly what we did. However, when we then tested this in the weekend trading, the rejection came back in. So rather than breaking up above this level, we've seen the rejection coming back in. What it's telling me is that potentially we're going to see some sort of resistance now coming in. Basically, bulls who have taken this move back up are then taking profits and sellers are stepping back in. Down below, we also had strong levels of support right here. So you can see the spike up and you can see the spike up. You can see the close of this candle here, but really it's back here where we got the close. So the close, the open of this candle right here, and the spike up on this candle. This is how we plotted the daily support and resistance levels. And then coming into the 20th of February, it was basically our confirmation. These spikes up. So this became a good level of support. That's why I was looking for the buy coming into this morning. Now, having both of these levels, if we're then breaking up above this spike, it's saying, or it's telling us that the bulls, if this is a continuation spike, the bulls are once again accepting the market above this level. So it becomes a good area to look for potential bullish bounces, at least up to that 300 level. Really, let me mark it in, really up into this level at a minimum. So 305 to 310. If we're breaking down below this level, we're then failing at all of these tests. And what it's telling me is that really it's opening up bearish movement on this market back down toward the sort of 242 levels. And now whilst in between this level, or these levels, the market is more neutral. Because it was more neutral, I was happy to look for the bullish bounces and the bearish resistance coming into the market as we came into this morning. Okay guys, so that is everything for today. I've had quite a good run of trades on Mondays. Last year, Monday was probably one of my worst days in all honesty, but coming into this year, very, very good. Another really good trade, nice early morning trade, which is the ones you want as a trader. You know, it's really what one of the main benefits of trading is when they do come like this. You're finished for the day at, what is it now, 8:52 a.m. Okay guys, so as always, I hope that was helpful. I hope you're all having a good trading week. I'm James Orr, and thank you.